Joe Biden has once again made it a crime for American companies to accidentally kill migratory birds. So I don't think this is a joke of an issue. I'm sure it sort of started back in the day where you had a huge factory in Gary, Indiana that was pumping sludge into a marsh, and then 10,000 geese died on their way back from Canada, and then the whole ecosystem. You get the picture. But President Biden has reversed a Trump era policy that was a little bit lenient on these things. Pratik, I'll just start this in like the most kind of like right wing libertarian way. Is this a tax on manufacturers that they now have to be cognizant of birds flying over their windmills or perhaps power lines or coal ash slurries?
So I didn't have time to like really dig into the legal weeds of this, but I guess I'll tell you what I think is going on here, which is actually pretty interesting. So I think there's basically a statute here that was passed, the Migratory Birds Something Whatever Act. And I think the intention of the legislation was basically to prevent people from deliberately going out and hunting and killing birds, which makes, I mean, one can debate that. But what I think
The
actually
dodos can't debate that.
that's true, yeah. Um, but what's going on here with the Biden administration is basically like once you have a law on the books, then it comes down to the president and federal agencies to basically determine, like, set regulations on what the law actually means. And what I think is happening is that the Biden administration is now basically interpreting this law that was intended to go after the deliberate targeting of birds. They're now trying to hold basically oil energy companies on the hook, not only for directly killing birds, but also for killing them indirectly and accidentally in the course of
Oh,
their
so
operations.
this is
So,
like climate change policy, basically.
in part, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is interesting to talk about this today only because I don't know if either of you saw this, but the U.S. officially declared 23 types of birds and fish and other species extinct today, which is a remarkable number, the most that has been established as extinct since the Preservation and Endangered Animals organization was built in the 70s. So the timing is good touch. The like reality is kind of eye roll.
I kind of like it. I think this is we're joking. Everything we're doing right now, we're joking. But I think this is sort of how presidential administrations work. They get the we need to address climate change notice in the Department of Interior that oversees like wildebeest populations, and they say, well, we can use the Don't Kill Birds Act to make sure that oil companies can't grow their footprint into habitat for birds, and it's sort of how the game works. And then the press release comes out about the this other agency is saying that a bunch of birds went extinct, and this is the game. This is the Game of Thrones. Am I wrong?
Yeah, where I would criticize the Biden administration, as much as I dislike government power generally, I actually am open to some kind of reasonable measures to protect certain animals or whatever. But it seems to me that the a better way to do that would not get into a whole complicated thing where you're pitting economic activity against birds. Why not just really enforce the laws that target like cruel and needless hunting of animals? I think that would have been a better approach than getting into this regulatory morass.